Tony. Some 10 years ago, I rolled my 401k to a local advisor who placed it in an annuity. Since that time, I never heard from them until recently when they called out of the blue to say they had better options with my money. Why would they be contacting me now?
Great question from Peggy, and boy, we're seeing this come up more and more. So a little history to explain what's going on in the annuity world. Right after 9/11, I was one of the few people out there that was a financial advisor that started focusing on fixed annuities. They weren't really very popular back then. Since that time, I've personally written over $700 million of fixed annuities. I know these products really well, and more importantly, the experience of watching them play out has really been helpful to me, my practice, and of course our clients. Now, since that time, in the last 10 to 15 years, more and more people started selling annuities. A lot of annuity contracts are written on what's called a 10-year surrender term. They're very common. Nothing necessarily wrong with them. You just have to understand how to use these products, because if you bail out, I'll show you this in a minute, there are penalties. Now, why is Peggy and many others starting to all of a sudden be contacted by former advisors who sold them annuities 10 plus years ago, and now all of a sudden these advisors are coming out of the woodwork wanting to talk because these surrender charges are up and these annuities can now be rolled over or moved to something totally different. At Tony Walker Financial, by the way, if you do get a call from somebody wanting to move over an annuity, even if it's got a small surrender charge, please, before you make a move on that, contact us. Folks, we've been doing annuities so long, many of you are going to get locked right back into another annuity. They're wanting to turn that annuity into another commission. You have to be really careful with this. So to help us understand how this works, I'm going to walk over to the whiteboard, and I'm going to explain surrender charges. I've actually never done this in all the years I've talked about annuities. By the way, there's a great booklet online if you want to download it I wrote called Annuities Made Easy. Just go to TonyWalkerFinancial.com, hit that download section, and download that booklet. I think it's really going to help you. But let's say this is a 10-year annuity contract. What that means is if you cash in the annuity within the first 10 years that it is written, they're going to charge a surrender charge, all right? It's different for different companies. This isn't science here. I'm just kind of showing you examples of how it works, again, because different companies charge different percentages. But let's say you put in $100,000, maybe like Peggy, you rolled over a 401k, been to a dinner seminar, it sounded great. Maybe it's an indexed annuity, they're promising you the moon. You throw it in there, and it's for long term. Okay, so the first year, maybe the index goes up 2%, so it's worth 102. But notice you got this surrender value. If Peggy were to cash this in, she only gets $90,000. Pretty big hit. Maybe it goes up to 106 the next year. Surrender charge goes away a little bit, but it's still hefty. Maybe the next year, the indexed annuity 110. You can see it. 2 years in a row, I did this on purpose. You know, an indexed annuity may not grow. We've seen this some. Even though the markets go up depending on the indices, participation rates, it could stay level. Now, granted, you're not going to lose anything, but it may not go up in value. The surrender charge, though, would start going away because of the number of years. Each year, it gets less and less. So as we fast forward down to the end of the 10th year, notice the contract value, that's what the actual annuity is worth, and the surrender value are finally equal. Okay, this is why so many agents are now looking into their files trying to find these, even though you haven't heard from them for 10 years. They're wanting to make another sale. The annuity is out of surrender, and they can churn that thing and do something else with it. That's why they're contacting you, which, again, you got to ask yourself, well, where have they been the last 10 years? Well, they're coming back because there's another sale to be had. Now, be aware of this. There's a lot of annuities out there that have bonuses attached. This might have been offered a 10% bonus, okay? You got to be careful because some of these contracts, the bonus is not fully vested until even like the 14th year. So that means, yeah, you might get all of your surrender value waived, but then if you surrender the contract, part of the bonus may not be given back to you. So you got to be really careful of this. Here's my suggestion. If you own a current annuity, if it's been a few years, maybe nobody's looked at it, especially if you're coming up on this mark or you get this random letter that somebody wants to review your annuity, call us and get a second opinion. There would be no cost or obligation. All you got to do is log on to TonyWalkerFinancial.com. Click on that Let's Get Started. Tell us what you're contacting us about. If it's this issue, we can certainly help. Sometimes over the phone, we can try to help you think through things. But if we need to, we can meet in person and go over your annuities, do an analysis, absolutely free. Meet with somebody that's very experienced in this world. If the internet's not your thing, by the way, just give us a call anytime, 877-499-9255, and we'll be happy at no cost or obligation to review your annuity, especially if it's coming out of surrender, to see if there's some better options available to you.
Thanks for watching. We hope you enjoyed that video. If you'd like, check out these other clips. And be sure to hit that like button and that subscribe button for more videos.